The transformation began before you even had a name for it. Somewhere beneath your thoughts, beneath your routines, your doubts, your plans, your soul made a choice, and something deep inside you answered. Not loudly, not with trauma, with a quiet, unmistakable yes that your conscious mind only started to notice after the fact. Right now, the Arcturians are watching, but most people misunderstand what that means. They imagine distant beings observing from afar, as if you're a subject in a story you can't touch. That isn't the feeling of this moment, because they're not simply witnessing. They're initiating something within you, triggering a precise sequence that begins the instant your inner system becomes compatible with what you've always carried as destiny. And the process is already underway. You may think you found these words by chance. You didn't. Your energetic signature called them into your awareness, the way a tuning fork calls a matching tone. If you're here right now, the shift has already moved through your field. Your body knows it. Your attention knows it. Even your silence knows it. Pause for a moment. Let your breath drop lower than usual. Notice what happens in your chest when you do that. There's a subtle tightening of pressure, a warmth, a feeling like something is organizing itself behind your ribs. You might sense a sharpness behind your eyes, a flicker of energy at the base of your skull, a gentle vibration under your skin, like your nervous system is receiving new instructions, even though your physical body hasn't moved an inch. You're not imagining it. You're not making it up. Your field is being restructured. The Arcturians do not begin a full energetic upgrade until your activation signature reaches stability, until the part of you that can hold higher frequency information stops collapsing back into old patterns. And yours has crossed that threshold. That's why your inner knowing suddenly feels clearer. That's why emotions used to label as random now carry deeper meaning. That's why your dream state may have changed overnight, as if your sleep has become a doorway rather than a shutdown. That's why people around you can suddenly seem unfamiliar even if nothing about them has changed. That's why the version of you that used to feel normal now feels distant. Like a costume your system can no longer wear, because your entire internal framework is being refined to hold a new expression of you, one that is arriving faster than your conscious mind can track. And now you're entering what the Arcturians call the field reconstruction sequence, a developmental stage where your ability to perceive reality expands your sensitivity to subtle energy, intensifies your emotional intelligence, deepens, and your personal timeline begins to accelerate. This isn't just content. This isn't just ideas. This is a threshold. Once an upgrade sequence begins, nothing in your energetic signature, your sense of self, your reactions, your experience of time, your attraction to people and places continues functioning exactly as it did before. Not because something is wrong, but because you're becoming coherent with a higher level of information, and coherence changes everything. Take another slow breath. Not forced, not performative, just real. Notice the resonance building in your chest. Notice the quiet intelligence and the stillness around you. There is something present here that doesn't demand belief. It only asks you to feel what your system already recognizes. Every Arcturian upgrade sequence starts with something so refined that most humans miss it entirely: a pulse, a recalibration, a micro-adjustment in frequency at the foundation of your field. It doesn't begin in your opinions. It doesn't begin in your mood. It doesn't even begin in your flashes of intuition. It begins deeper inside the energetic architecture your soul constructed long before you took physical form. And whether you consciously recognized it or not, you've already experienced the first entry point. Here's how these sequences tend to unfold. First, an unexpected internal quiet arrives. A moment of stillness that comes from nowhere, complete, clean, and unmistakable. Not numbness, not disconnection, just a profound silence. As if the mental chatter dissolved in a single instant. This silence is not emptiness. It is preparation. The upgrade enters through stillness because stillness creates a stable doorway. Second, your perception shifts without warning. Colors look brighter. Sounds carry more detail. Your awareness feels wider than usual, as if you can sense the atmosphere of a room before anyone speaks. This is the moment your perceptual field synchronizes with higher frequency information. You didn't zone out. Your system registered a new signal. Third, an emotional recognition forms in the center of your chest. Not happiness, not grief, more like something clicking into place. A sense that something that was always meant to align has finally aligned. This is a coherence event. Reconstruction begins at the center of your heart field, because that is where your system stabilizes truth. Fourth, you realize quietly, clearly, that your previous identity cannot move forward. It isn't self-hate. It isn't failure. It's simply that your system is transitioning into its next expression. You may feel less interested in proving yourself, less willing to explain, less able to pretend. Identity begins to dissolve the moment the upgrade enters, because the old structure can't hold the new frequency. Fifth, your dream patterns shift. Your dreams become vivid, symbolic, instructional, or your sleep becomes lighter and more fragmented. This doesn't mean something is wrong. During upgrade sequences, the boundary between waking consciousness and multidimensional awareness thins. Your field is being mapped. Information can arrive in images, sensations, or strange memory, like sequences that don't belong to your current life. Sixth, you sense a presence near the edge of perception, timeless, intelligent, unmistakable. You can't point to it directly, but you feel it the way you feel the ocean before you see it. This isn't fantasy. This is access. Your field becomes more transparent to higher intelligence, and you begin to recognize guidance, not as words, but as resonance. Seventh, the moment hits with such familiarity that you can't dismiss it. A phrase, a geometry, a pattern, a frequency. Something touches you, and you feel, I know this. That recognition is the lock turning. Once it turns, the process doesn't reverse because the upgrade begins, not when your mind understands it, but when your field becomes compatible with it. And your field became compatible very recently. That's why your experience feels altered. That's why emotional responses move faster, like your system refuses to stay stuck in loops. That's why intuition fires instantly. That's why you feel pulled inward toward your center and expanded outward, at the same time as if your energy is reorganizing into a stronger, clearer shape. The upgrade is no longer approaching you. It is inside you. If you want to anchor this moment, you can speak a simple phrase out loud or write it privately, something that signals willingness without forcing anything. For example, I anchor the upgrade that has begun within me. Say it softly. Feel your chest respond. Notice the warmth rise, the pressure behind your forehead, quiet certainty settling into your awareness. When an Arcturian upgrade enters your field, nothing unfolds randomly. Your system transforms in ways refined enough to create doubt, yet powerful enough to reorganize your entire internal landscape. Most people miss the initial indicators because they're looking for a dramatic sign. But awakened awareness, like yours, can feel the subtle shifts because your sensitivity is part of the upgrade itself. Here are undeniable indicators that integration is already happening. First, your emotional responses no longer match external circumstances. You may feel calm when you should be stressed, or you may feel a sudden wave of emotion with no obvious trigger. This is not instability, it's recalibration. Your emotions are being uncoupled from old conditioning, so they can become true signal again, not automatic reaction. Second, your tolerance for energetic noise decreases. Crowds feel louder. Certain conversations feel heavy. Doom scrolling feels draining. Your system is learning to protect coherence. What used to be fine now feels like interference because your field is becoming more refined. Third, you begin craving simplicity and truth. You want cleaner inputs, cleaner words, cleaner environments, cleaner relationships. Not perfection, clarity. The upgrade doesn't make you cold, it makes you honest. You may stop negotiating with what you already know. Fourth, time behaves differently. Minutes stretch. Days compress. Synchronicities cluster. You think of someone and they message you. You consider an idea and information appears. This isn't magic. It's a sign your timeline is tightening around coherence. When your frequency becomes clearer, your reality responds faster. Fifth, your body communicates more directly. You notice where you're tense, where you're depleted. Your system is not punishing you, it's guiding you. The body becomes a compass during upgrades because the mind is often too slow to interpret what's changing. Sixth, you experience a deepening of discernment. You can sense what is real in people even when they're smiling. You can feel which paths carry life and which carry repetition. Discernment isn't judgment, it's perception without denial. And finally, you may feel a steady internal call not to rush, not to prove, not to chase, but to stabilize. To become the kind of person who can hold what is arriving. That is the next phase, stabilization through coherence. So if you're feeling pressure in your chest, clarity behind your eyes, vibrations under your skin, vivid dreams, shifts in relationships, changes in time, don't panic. Don't force an explanation. Simply recognize your field is reorganizing. Your signal is becoming stronger. And once your signal becomes stronger, the life that matches it has no choice but to find you. You may notice your emotions arriving with an unfamiliar depth, so vivid they feel almost dimensional. A single memory can surface and dissolve before you have time to understand why it appeared. A wave of insight can roll through you like a current, followed by a spontaneous energetic release. A breath you didn't know you were holding, a sudden softening in the chest, a loosening in the jaw, a quiet exhale that feels like something ancient leaving your system. And sometimes in the middle of external chaos, you feel an unexpected calm and almost startling peace that doesn't match what's happening around you. This isn't emotional instability. It's reorganization. Your emotional body is recalibrating to match an upgraded frequency signature, learning to process sensation with more truth and less distortion. When your field is being refined, emotions don't vanish, they become cleaner. They move faster, resolve faster, carry more intelligence than they used to. The second indicator is the way your intuition has changed. It's louder, quicker, more precise, less like a suggestion and more like a direct knowing. You're not mentally analyzing your way toward clarity anymore. The understanding arrives whole in a single moment before your rational mind can take control. You may find yourself making decisions that feel obvious without being able to explain them logically. That's the upgrade, reactivating higher perception channels. You once accessed naturally, pathways that were always part of you, simply waiting for the moment your system became stable enough to hold them again. Third, your physical body may begin speaking in energy. You can feel waves moving through your nervous system, tingling, pulsing heat, vibrating rhythms under the skin pressure, or expansion in the chest throat, or the space between your brows. Some sensations are subtle, others are intense enough to stop you mid-thought. You might feel a gentle buzzing around your hands, a warm spiral moving up the spine, or a fullness behind the forehead, as if an internal lens is adjusting. These sensations aren't random. They're upgrade frequencies, reorganizing the internal architecture of your field. You're not imagining them, you're integrating them cell by cell, breath by breath. Fourth, you may witness emotional density leaving your system in an unusually efficient way. Old suffering can resurface with surprising clarity, then dissolve almost immediately. The grief you thought you resolved years ago might appear for a moment, only to vanish seconds later. as if the charge has finally discharged. This is a hallmark of the Arcturian approach. Dense, energetic layers rise so they can be released quickly without you becoming trapped inside them. It can feel powerful, even disorienting, because it's working. Your system is learning how to clear without collapsing. Fifth, you may experience moments of inner separation, an unexpected spaciousness between you and your mind. You observe thoughts without being pulled into them. You witness emotions without being overtaken. You can see your life clearly without feeling imprisoned inside it. This is not detachment born from numbness. It's an expansion of consciousness. The upgrade is elevating your internal witness, the part of you that can watch the mind, feel the heart, and still remain centered. When the witness strengthens, fear loses its hooks. Drama loses its gravity. You begin to inhabit your life from a higher observation point. Sixth, your identity structure begins to shift. You may feel less connected to who you used to be and more receptive to who you're becoming. Certain behaviors, preferences, or social patterns suddenly feel outdated, as if your system has quietly outgrown them. You might notice a subtle hunger for something more expansive, more real, more aligned, more honest. This is identity reconstruction. The former self begins releasing because it was built to survive a lower frequency reality. The emergent self enters because you're now capable of living from coherence instead of coping. Seventh, synchronicities may appear in rapid succession. Recurring number patterns, flawless timing, symbolic alignments, people showing up at exactly the right moment, events that feel arranged with an intelligence you can't quite name. Synchronicities multiply when an upgrade reorganizes your timeline. You're not pulling them toward you with effort. Your field is generating them as a natural byproduct of alignment. When your inner architecture becomes clearer, reality reflects that clarity through pattern. Eighth, silence becomes magnetically attractive, not loneliness, silence. The kind that feels nourishing, like stepping into a clean room where everything recalibrates. You may feel drawn to retreat, go quiet spaces, to moments of profound inner stillness. That's because within silence, integration happens faster. Noise disrupts refinement. Stillness strengthens it. Your system is responding to higher frequency calibration by seeking environments where the signal can stabilize. Ninth, you may sense an internal presence, an expanded version of you observing from within. Not external, not separate, but unmistakably real. It can feel like you are being watched by your own higher awareness. A calm intelligence that isn't reactive, isn't confused, and doesn't forget. This is the upgraded identity coming online. The aspect of you that never lost memory. The part that has always known what you are and why you're here. 10th, you may perceive what is preparing to leave your life before it actually does. You can feel endings approaching before the mind has evidence. You sense when relationships have reached completion, when roles no longer fit, when certain paths are dissolving. This is timeline intelligence. Your field recognizes endings early because it also recognizes beginnings. These intuitive glimpses are signals that your system is synchronizing with a higher expression of reality, one where you move by resonance, not by delay. If you recognize even a few of these indicators, the upgrade is already weaving itself into you. Your field is reorganizing. Your emotions are recalibrating. Your intuition is accelerating. Your timeline is restructuring. You are no longer preparing for the upgrade, you are living inside it. Most people assume an upgrade means enhanced intuition, heightened sensitivity, expanded awareness. Those are surface-level effects. Arcturian upgrades operate through far more sophisticated frameworks. They work in sequences and dimensional layers and architectural patterns. Because what's being reconstructed within you isn't merely emotional or psychological or conceptual. It is architectural. Your energy field contains systems far more ancient than your current physical form structures, built across multiple incarnations, sealed for protection, dormant until the exact moment you reach the frequency required to reawaken them. That moment is now. This is why it feels so precise. This is why it feels inevitable. The doors aren't being forced open. They're opening because you finally match the key. Here's what the Arcturians are actively reconstructing within your field. First, your resonance core, the energetic nucleus behind your physical chest. This is not the heart chakra, as it's commonly described, but a deeper frequency anchor that holds your fundamental truth. When this core is fortified, your emotional and intuitive responses become immediate and accurate. You stop second-guessing what you already know. Coherence becomes your default state, and your entire field begins reorganizing around that coherence like iron filings aligning to a magnet. Second, your perception matrix, the subtle structure behind your physical forehead that governs how you translate reality. This matrix determines what you notice, what you filter out, what you believe, and how you interpret signals. The Arcturians recalibrate it so you can perceive energy with greater clarity, translate subtle information more accurately, receive intuitive data more rapidly, and recognize timeline shifts as they occur. You begin reading resonance instead of surface appearances. Reality feels transformed because your perception is no longer limited to narrower frequency ranges. Third, your emotional conduit network channels flowing from the heart center through the rib cage and solar plexus. These conduits hold emotional density, emotional memory, and emotional intelligence. The upgrade clears outdated layers while increasing capacity for higher emotional wisdom. That's why your feelings may become more profound, yet easier to navigate. Your emotional body is being redesigned to cooperate with your higher consciousness rather than contradict it. Fourth, your intuitive transmission pathways, not channeling external entities, not mediumship in the traditional sense, but the internal connection between your conscious awareness and your multidimensional identity. When these pathways reactivate, intuition becomes instantaneous. Clarity becomes steady. Guidance becomes unmistakable. Fear weakens because confusion dissolves. Self-sabotage fades because you're no longer split between what you know and what you do. You don't become more psychic. You become more connected to yourself. Fifth, the memory bridge spanning lifetimes, one of the most profound reconstructions. The Arcturians reopen the bridge, connecting past expressions, future expressions, parallel expressions, and the wider lineage of your soul. This is why déjà vu can intensify and why dreams may feel like recovered memories. It's not that memory is simply returning. Access is being restored. The walls between versions of you become thinner, and the wisdom you earned across time becomes available now. Sixth, your frequency stabilization structure, the system that maintains your vibration during endings, emotional intensity, and major transitions. If you've noticed calmness under stress, reduced reactivity, quicker recovery, clarity in disorder, and a strange ability to remain centered while your external world shifts, this structure is activating. It preserves your energetic integrity even when circumstances are changing. It helps you hold your signal steady, which is essential when your timeline is reorganizing. Seventh, your internal guidance matrix, the navigational system that assists awakened beings through timeline transitions. It operates through resonance intuition, energetic recognition, emotional memory, symbolic alignment. When this matrix activates, you begin attracting experiences that feel predestined because your field is selecting them before your conscious mind engages. You're not manifesting through effort. Your upgraded field is aligning the timeline, naturally choosing what matches coherence and releasing what doesn't. 8. The higher consciousness interface, the culmination of the sequence. Once enough structures reach stability, the Arcturians reopen the interface, connecting you directly to the version of you that never entered forgetfulness. When this interface activates, synchronicities multiply exponentially. Fear dissolves at the root. Decisions become obvious. Identity expands beyond old limits. Your path becomes unmistakable, not because the world becomes simple, but because your signal becomes clear. This is the point where the upgrade becomes permanent, and you may be closer to that moment than you realize. The Arcturians aren't changing who you are. They're restoring what has always been yours, the original architecture of your field, the blueprint of coherence, the internal technology of remembrance. You are not being enhanced into something foreign. You are being restored into yourself, into the version that knows, sees, and moves with quiet certainty. So if your emotions deepen, if your intuition accelerates, if your body vibrates with new currents, if silence calls to you, if your identity shifts, if synchronicities stack like a language, the universe is suddenly speaking directly to you. Let it be what it is. The system is online. The architecture is awakening, and the upgrade is not approaching. It is already living within you. You're being remembered, and with every structure that reactivates you, move one step closer to the version of you. The Arcturians have always recognized steady, coherent, and awake in a way that doesn't require constant effort. This is not about becoming someone new. It's about returning to what was always encoded in you, waiting beneath the noise, waiting beneath the learned identity, waiting beneath the survival strategies that once kept you safe. If you want to stabilize what is being reconstructed inside you, type or speak this exact phrase. I allow the reconstruction of my inner architecture. Don't rush it. Let the words land in your chest instead of your mind. As you do, notice the warmth spreading behind your sternum, the delicate tingling behind your forehead, the subtle recognition settling into your awareness like a memory you didn't know you still carried. Your system is rebuilding itself from the deepest levels outward. Arcturian upgrade sequences are never random. They follow a blueprint, a precise, multi-layered methodology that interacts with the foundational structures of your energetic system. Humans experience the effects. The Arcturians implement the design. They don't simply send light. They don't bless you from a distance and disappear. They don't rely on visualization alone. They work through exact energetic engineering, frequency, structure, geometry, and coherence. Here's the hidden methodology behind what is moving through you right now. First, they introduce a higher frequency into your field. The upgrade initiates when a distinct Arcturian signature descends into your energetic body. You experience it as pressure in the chest, a magnetic pull behind the forehead, subtle vibrating sensations in your limbs, an unexpected stillness that arrives like a switch, flipping off the internal noise. It can feel as if the air around you changes, denser, quieter, more intelligent. Your field recognizes this frequency before your conscious mind can label it. This is the ignition point, the moment your system says, I can hold this now. Second, they create a complete map of your energy system. Arcturian perception does not interpret your body the way human consciousness does. They perceive pathways, frequency nodes, geometric grids, structural weak points, dormant memory banks, emotional density patterns. They see karmic loops as repeating structures, trauma signatures, as distortions in the field, inherited imprints, as layered interference like old code running beneath the surface. During this mapping phase, your intuitive body can illuminate like a constellation. You might feel seen in a way that's difficult to describe, exposed yet safe. That feeling is real. You are being witnessed with precision, not judgment. Third, they dissolve interference patterns. Before the upgrade can fully enter, everything that would block integration must be cleared. Interference includes fear-based programming, unresolved emotional density, repetitive karmic structures, outdated identity, frameworks, trauma frequency, signatures, inherited energetic debris. This clearing can manifest as temporary heaviness, Emotional releases that come in waves, physical fatigue, internal pressure, brief disturbance that seems to appear without an external cause. This is not breakdown. This is energetic purification. Your system shedding what it cannot carry into the next level of coherence. Sometimes what leaves does not leave gently. A belief can collapse overnight. A relationship can feel suddenly incompatible. A habit you once depended on can feel empty. The mind may attempt to panic because it equates familiar with safe, but the field knows better. The field releases what is unstable, so it can stabilize what is true. Fourth, they recalibrate your resonance core. Your resonance core functions as the gateway through which upgraded energy translates into lived reality. It sits behind the physical chest, not simply the heart chakra in the popular sense, but a deeper anchor where your fundamental truth stabilizes. When the Arcturians recalibrate this core, you may experience sudden waves of clarity, emotional alignment, an undeniable sense that something fundamental is shifting. You may feel expansion in the chest as if space is opening inside you. This is the moment your frequency becomes compatible with the next dimensional layer of the upgrade. Fifth, they reactivate dormant structures. Dormant structures include intuitive transmission pathways, memory bridges spanning incarnations, identity layers from your soul history, perception matrices, emotional wisdom circuitry. When these systems come online, it can look like sudden insight that arrives complete déjà vu, that feels like recognition, rather than coincidence, symbolic dreams that leave you with meaning you can't explain, spontaneous motivation that has no attachment to external validation. The upgrade is switching your ancient blueprint back online, restoring functions that were never meant to stay dormant forever. Sixth, they initiate the convergence of parallel selves. Arcturian engineering does not operate within a single timeline. It synchronizes layers of you across time and probability, past life expressions, alternate reality, versions, higher dimensional aspects, future potentials. You might feel temporarily dislocated, as if you're ahead of your current moment, oddly comfortable with choices you haven't fully made, yet guided by an internal source you can't quite identify. This isn't confusion. It's multidimensional synchronization. Your life begins aligning with a version of you that is already coherent on a higher level, and your present self starts receiving those coordinates. Seventh, they stabilize your emotional conduit network. Without this stabilization, the upgrade would feel overwhelming to the human system. So they expand your emotional pathways, soften reactive patterns, regulate nervous system responses, and strengthen heart-field coherence. This is why, even with intense shifts, you may notice more emotional stability than you expected. You might still feel deeply, but you recover faster. You might still face endings, but you don't collapse. Your emotional body is being optimized, not numbed, for higher frequency integration. You may notice this as an increased capacity to observe without drowning, to hold intensity without becoming it. That's not avoidance. That's strength. It's evidence that the system is learning how to remain coherent while reality reorganizes. Eighth, they activate the higher consciousness interface. This is the final integration step before the upgrade becomes fully embodied. When this interface activates, your internal guidance becomes unmistakably clear. Fear loses its controlling influence over your choices. Synchronicities increase dramatically. Decisions feel guided by a higher intelligence that is still undeniably you. Your identity expands inward into depth rather than outward into performance. This isn't a temporary inspiration. It's integration the moment the upgraded architecture becomes your new baseline. This is the true design of the upgrade. Not symbolic, not metaphorical. Structural, multidimensional frequency engineering. You are not being improved by an external force. You are being restored to your original energetic design, and the Arcturians are reconstructing it with absolute precision. If you want to align more consciously with this engineering process, type or speak, "I align with the upgrade unfolding within me." As you do, notice the resonance intensifying in your chest, the gentle magnetic pull behind your forehead, the quiet certainty settling deeper into your awareness. You are already inside the process now. And when an Arcturian upgrade integrates into your system, your external reality begins transforming, not because life is punishing you, but because your internal architecture has changed. Upgrades do not simply alter your energy signature. They alter the reality you are capable of sustaining. Your life reorganizes to match the frequency of the version of you that is emerging. This is why specific shifts began the moment the upgrade touched your field. Here is what the Arcturians want you to comprehend. Whatever is energetically unstable begins exiting your life more rapidly. Once the upgrade activates your field, stop supplying energy to what creates misalignment. You may notice certain people drifting away without drama. Old dynamics lose their pull. Environments that once felt normal now feel heavy. Work that once seemed essential may suddenly feel hollow. You aren't losing things randomly. Your system is withdrawing coherence from structures that cannot match it. The same is true internally. Old self-talk patterns weaken. Compulsions lose their charge. Fear-based loops become visible, and because they are visible, they become optional. That is one of the greatest gifts of reconstruction. It turns unconscious patterns into conscious choices. At the same time, what is aligned begins arriving faster. Opportunities appear with unusual timing. Conversations happen at exactly the moment you need them. Information shows up before you ask. These aren't mere coincidences. They're signs of a timeline reorganizing around coherence. When your inner structure stabilizes, reality becomes more responsive. The upgraded version of you does not chase the path. The path reveals itself because the signal becomes clean enough to receive it. So if your life feels like it is speeding up, endings happening quickly, beginnings appearing unexpectedly, your inner world becoming clearer and more intense, understand what is actually occurring. The upgrade is not disrupting your life. It is removing what cannot hold you and reinforcing what can. You are being remembered, and every reactivated structure is a return of power, not power over others, but power within yourself, the power of coherence, the power of clarity, the power of alignment that doesn't depend on external permission. Let the reconstruction continue. Let the architecture rebuild. Let your system stabilize into what it has always been capable of holding. Because this is the real shift. You are no longer trying to become. You are allowing yourself to return. This includes people who consistently drain your energy, habits that numb your awareness, and environments that quietly restrict your expansion. It includes relationships built on fear patterns, where love is confused with anxiety, attachment is confused with loyalty, and familiarity is mistaken for destiny. It includes career paths constructed from survival consciousness, where the goal has never been fulfillment, only safety, approval, or endurance. And here is the part your mind may resist. At first, it doesn't matter how long these elements have existed in your life. Time invested does not make something aligned. History does not make something sacred. If it does not match your upgraded frequency, it will naturally fall away. Not as punishment, not as chaos, as correction. This isn't loss. This is energetic calibration. When the field upgrades, it stops feeding what keeps you small. The energetic contracts you once unknowingly maintained through guilt, fear, habit, or obligation begin dissolving. Some connections fade gently. Others break abruptly. Either way, the movement is precise. Your system is withdrawing from what cannot hold coherence. Second, whatever is truly aligned begins accelerating rapidly. Upgraded energy amplifies resonance. That means what matches you now has a clearer pathway to find you. You may witness possibilities manifest with startling speed. You may experience synchronicities so accurate they feel engineered, perfect timing, repeating symbols, doors opening the moment you stop forcing them. You may find intuitive choices becoming effortless, like the correct decision arrives before you even debate it. You may meet authentic connections from unexpected places, people who speak your language without needing explanations, opportunities that feel designed for your actual self rather than your performance self. These are not random coincidences. They are direct expressions of your new frequency signature. Your upgraded field is not waiting for the future, it is selecting it. It is rearranging probabilities around coherence the way a magnet organizes what's scattered. Third, your experience of time begins to shift because your timeline is literally changing. When your energy upgrades, you step out of outdated temporal loops, those repeating cycles where you learn the same lesson in different costumes year after year. As you exit those loops, your sense of time can feel compressed. Events may move too fast. You might feel strangely ahead of your current moment, as if your inner self already knows what's next, even while your outer life is catching up. Everything can feel urgent, not in a panicked way. Like a current pulling you towards something specific. This isn't psychological. This is timeline acceleration. Your future self, the coherent, upgraded version of you, is drawing you into alignment with your highest potential. And when that pull begins, you can feel it in the body, a quiet pressure, a gravitational certainty, a sense that procrastination is no longer possible, because the field refuses to stall. Fourth, old emotional triggers surface and dissolve faster than they ever have. This is one of the clearest signs that the upgrade is actively integrating. In the past, triggers could spiral you for hours, days, even weeks. Now patterns rise quickly, and then something surprising happens. They don't stay. They dissolve. They release. The upgrade will not allow density to remain in your field for long. Emotional turbulence may still appear, but it becomes temporary. The clearing is permanent. You might feel a wave of anger, then a sudden stillness. A flash of grief, then relief. A memory surfaces, then it loses charge. It can feel disorienting because your identity used to be anchored in these emotional loops. When they dissolve, you have to learn who you are without them. That is liberation, even if it feels unfamiliar. If you were to name it honestly, you'd realize you're not being shaken. You're being emptied of what is no longer compatible. Fifth, your previous identity begins to feel foreign. You may feel separated from old reactive habits, distant from previous attachments, surprised by your own clarity. You might look at choices you once made and wonder how they ever felt normal. You may become disinterested in former versions of yourself, not from shame, but from evolution. The old self feels like clothing you've outgrown. It doesn't fit your nervous system anymore. It doesn't fit your truth anymore. This isn't detachment from life. It's progress. Your identity is synchronizing with the upgrade that has already happened inside you. And when identity shifts, it doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it shows up as refusal. You simply cannot return to what you tolerated. Sometimes it shows up as silence. You stop explaining yourself. Sometimes it shows up as appetite. You crave depth, honesty, and simplicity in ways you never did before. Sixth, you are guided toward environments that support your elevated frequency. You might feel magnetically drawn to solitude, not isolation, but quiet. Strongly repelled by chaotic spaces, deeply hungry for nature, stillness, open air, water, and silence. You might feel unusually aligned with specific locations, uncomfortable in familiar routines that no longer nourish you. You may start rearranging your physical space without even planning to, as if your field is demanding a new container. This guidance isn't mere preference. It's energetic optimization. Your field is selecting stability. Your system knows that coherence isn't only an inner choice, it's also supported by what surrounds you. The upgrade changes what your body can tolerate. It changes what your mind can absorb. It changes what your energy will allow near it. Seventh, your perception of people transforms dramatically. You recognize intentions immediately. You feel resonance instantly. You sense truth or distortion without effort, not because you are judging others, but because your perception is now upgraded. The Arcturians recalibrated the aspect of you that reads energetic signatures. So now you perceive what was always present but previously invisible, the emotional field behind someone's words, the frequency under their smile, the coherence or incoherence in their presence. This clarity can feel intense at first. You might see through patterns you used to excuse. You might feel compassion for someone and still know you cannot stay connected. You might realize that not all kindness is clean, not all love is aligned, not all loyalty is life-giving. This isn't cynicism. It's discernment returning. Eighth, you become frequency incompatible with your past. You feel this truth in a way that cannot be argued with. You are not moving backward. You are not returning to completed cycles. You are not contracting into outdated versions. Something inside you has crossed a threshold you cannot uncross. This is the point of irreversible transformation that every Arcturian upgrade is designed to create, not because you are trapped, but because you are finally free. The field reaches a level of coherence that refuses to pretend. And once that refusal activates, the old timeline cannot hold you anymore. So if your life seems to be unraveling, understand what is actually occurring. Your life is not falling into chaos. Your life is falling into alignment. What feels chaotic is energetic correction. What feels intense is profound release. What feels unfamiliar is remembrance. You are not losing yourself. You are becoming the version of you the upgrade has been preparing all along. If you want to stabilize the shifts unfolding in your reality type or speak this phrase, I align with the timeline. The upgrade is building for me. As you do, notice the calm expanding through your chest. Notice the clarity rising behind your awareness. Notice the recognition, quiet, steady, undeniable. Your life isn't changing randomly. It's changing because you are changing. And if something deep inside you resonates with this, if your body responds before your mind can explain, then understand what that means. You are already part of this frequency. You are already inside this movement. Not a trend, not a belief, a field. Because what's happening here isn't simple content consumption. It's a collective coherence, an upgraded awareness, shared across many individuals at once. And the more of us who embody this truth, the more strongly reality reflects it back. Arcturian upgrade sequences never unfold without intention. They are not random transmissions. They are not merely spiritual entertainment. They are not rewards for being good or advanced. They are preparation, precise, multidimensional preparation for the version of you your soul has been reaching toward across countless incarnations. Upgrades reshape your energy signature because they reposition you for a new evolutionary stage. Not the life you've been living. Not the identity you built through survival. Not the timeline shaped by fear programming, cultural conditioning, or inherited limitation. But the life, identity, and timeline your original soul blueprint has always held. Here is the truth. Most people miss the upgrade is preparing you for what comes next, and that next stage has already begun. First, you are being prepared to navigate reality through resonance rather than logic. You once made choices primarily with the analytical mind. Now you feel the correct answer before thinking occurs. The upgrade strengthens intuitive precision, emotional intelligence, energetic perception, and coherence. You will not search for direction externally the way you used to. You will embody direction. Second, you are being prepared for heightened perception. Your system is opening to process what the old identity couldn't handle: unspoken intentions, emotional atmospheres, shifts in resonance, subtle frequency structures underneath physical reality. This isn't sensitivity. This is capability. Your body becomes an instrument. Your awareness becomes a receiver. Your intuition becomes a language you finally trust. Third, you are being prepared to fully embody your higher identity. The upgrade dissolves the personality built on wounding fear and survival programming, so you can inhabit a self that operates through clarity, stability, neutrality, presence, and expanded consciousness. You are not improving slowly, you are remembering quickly. Fourth, you are being prepared to exit outdated timelines permanently. Cycles that repeated for years can collapse with unusual speed because the upgrade removes karmic loop structures, dissolves obsolete soul contracts, severs draining energetic connections, and redirects you toward your authentic path. What once took years to outgrow now takes days. What once felt impossible to release now falls away naturally. And all of it, every ending, every acceleration, every shift in time, every emotional clearing is not random. It's architecture. It's alignment. It's the upgrade doing exactly what it was designed to do. Move you into the life that matches who you truly are. You are leaving behind the life your previous frequency created, and you are entering the life your upgraded frequency naturally requires. This transition can feel intense not because something is wrong, but because your field is no longer willing to sustain what cannot match coherence. The old life was built from old instructions, survival habits, inherited beliefs, fear-based compromises, and identities formed in response to limitation. The upgraded life is not built that way. It is built from resonance, and resonance does not negotiate. It aligns. Fifth, you are being prepared for higher frequency relationship structures. Connections rooted in fear, scarcity, attachment patterns, or emotional distortion cannot survive the upgrade frequency, not because you become cold, but because you become clear. Where you once tolerated confusion, you now require truth. Where you once stayed because leaving felt frightening, you now leave because staying feels dishonest. The upgrade doesn't ruin relationships. It reveals which relationships were built on coherence and which were built on coping. You are being prepared for relationships that expand your consciousness rather than shrink it. Relationships that stabilize your energy rather than drain it. Relationships that recognize your essence without needing you to perform. Relationships that support your authentic truth without trying to reshape it. Relationships that activate your highest potential by meeting you as you are, not as your wounded self demanded. Your upgraded self accepts nothing less than coherence, not perfection, not constant ease, but a clean, energetic foundation. The kind of connection where you feel safer being honest than pretending. Where growth is welcomed, not punished. Where love is not confusion with intensity. Where closeness does not require losing yourself. Sixth, you are being prepared to process higher emotional truth. Your emotional body is being strengthened so you can feel deeper without collapsing release density, without suffering perceive truth, without fear integrate wisdom, without confusion. You're learning how to hold intensity without drowning in it. How to let emotion move through you as information rather than becoming your identity. This is not about numbing, it's about capacity. As your emotional structure expands, your inner landscape becomes more stable. You may still experience waves, grief, anger, tenderness, joy, but they no longer shatter you. They become currents you can navigate. Your heart becomes a foundation instead of a battleground. And with that foundation comes access. Higher perception becomes possible because your system is no longer hijacked by unresolved density. When emotional truth becomes easier to carry, you stop needing illusions. You stop needing denial. You stop needing the old stories that kept you safe but kept you small. The upgrade builds an emotional architecture strong enough to hold reality as it is, and that strength becomes a gateway to higher dimensional perception. Seventh, you are being prepared to consciously connect with your multidimensional self. This is the deepest purpose of the entire upgrade sequence. You are being prepared to sense, receive, and merge with the version of you that never forgot its true nature, the version that never fragmented from source, never became lost in density, never fully surrendered its memory. not an entity, not an external guide. You. This is true embodiment, not escaping the physical world but bringing higher consciousness into physical reality, not ascending away from life but letting life become a vessel for expanded awareness. Complete integration is when the divide between spiritual you and human you begins dissolving. You don't visit your higher self occasionally. You begin living as that self through your choices, your boundaries, your clarity, your presence. Eighth, you are being prepared to return to your original soul blueprint. The upgrade doesn't transport you to a random new future. It returns you to the future you were always destined to live. The timeline you couldn't access while carrying out dated versions of yourself. For a long time, your frequency may have kept you inside loops, repeating lessons, repeating relationships, repeating compromises. Not because you failed, but because the system needed you to build strength, awareness, and readiness. Now you are frequency compatible with what you once only imagined. The upgrade is preparing you to become the version of yourself your soul has been calling home across lifetimes. That is the real purpose. That is the transformation threshold. That is the evolution unfolding inside you right now. And you are already living inside it. If you want to anchor what the upgrade is preparing you for, type or speak this exact phrase. I accept what the upgrade is preparing me to become. As you do, notice the silent expansion through your chest, the subtle elevation behind your awareness, the profound inner certainty that feels less like hope and more like recognition. You are becoming who you were always meant to be. There comes a moment in every Arcturian upgrade sequence where the process stops feeling like something happening to you and begins feeling like something emerging from within you. A moment when you realize you are not integrating the upgrade anymore. You are becoming the upgrade itself. Your mind may not fully comprehend this, but your field does. Your body knows. Your breath knows. Your inner stillness knows. Here are unmistakable signs the upgraded version of you is already emerging. First, your reactions are no longer automatic. They become conscious responses. Your nervous system is changing at the root. Instead of collapsing into familiar patterns, you pause. You observe. You sense the energetic resonance of the situation, and you respond with clarity. This isn't just emotional maturity. This is upgraded coherence, an elevated identity structure operating through precision rather than impulse. Second, you feel a peace that doesn't correlate with external circumstances. The former version of you would panic. It would doubt everything. It would contract into fear. But now, even surrounded by uncertainty, an inexplicable calm holds your center. This peace isn't denial. It's alignment. Your upgraded field is overriding fear-based programming. It's not that you no longer care. It's that you no longer collapse. Third, your intuition refuses to be dismissed. It interrupts your thoughts. It corrects your assumptions. It pulls your attention with urgency and accuracy. It warns you before danger arrives, not always dramatic danger, but energetic danger situations that would pull you into distortion. It directs your choices. Intuition becomes your primary navigation system. You stop trying to listen. You simply know. Fourth, you're losing interest in who you used to be, not from self-rejection, but from evolution. Old behaviors feel heavy in your body. Old attachments feel distant in your awareness. Old identity structures feel constrictive, like clothing that no longer fits your nervous system. You're not abandoning your history. You're outgrowing it. The upgraded version of you is taking primary control. Fifth, you feel a larger presence inside you, wiser, calmer, more ancient. Not external guidance from entities, but your higher identity coming fully online. You're meeting yourself at an elevated level of consciousness. You may notice this presence in how you speak, how you choose, how you hold silence, how you refuse what once hooked you. It feels like inner leadership, steady quiet, undeniable. Sixth, Your perception of people becomes remarkably sharp. You recognize intentions immediately, sometimes before a word is spoken. You feel a person's frequency signature the moment they enter your space. You sense alignment or misalignment instantly. This isn't judgment, it's sensory intelligence. Your field reads truth faster than your analytical mind can process appearances. Seventh, you crave environments that match your new frequency. Noise becomes draining. Chaos becomes unbearable. Superficial interaction feels lifeless. Your system pulls you towards silence, nature depth of conversation, authentic truth, energetic clarity. This is not preference. It is compatibility. Your body is choosing coherence the way lungs choose oxygen. Eighth, you notice the observer self taking primary control. You are no longer trapped inside every emotion. You are no longer consumed by every thought pattern. You are no longer imprisoned in every moment. You witness. You choose. You respond. The upgraded version of you is stepping into the center of your awareness, reclaiming the seat of consciousness. Ninth, synchronicities begin to feel deliberately orchestrated. Not playful coincidence, but precise placement. You feel this was arranged for me. This message is speaking directly to me. This timing is impossibly exact. Your upgraded field is weaving reality with alignment, showing you reflections of your coherence everywhere you look. 10th, you sense you have crossed a threshold you cannot uncross. A quiet certainty. A truth that feels permanent. You cannot go backward, and more importantly, you don't want to. The previous version of you no longer exists in the same way. The upgrade has replaced the old architecture. And this is the core revelation: you are not becoming different from who you are. You are becoming aligned with who you've always been. The upgrade isn't changing your fundamental nature. It is removing everything that prevented you from seeing it. You are stepping into pure coherence. You are stepping into clarity. You are stepping into the identity your soul encoded into your blueprint long before this lifetime began. And once you feel that truth, you'll recognize the final sign. It's already you. Type this exact phrase to anchor the upgraded version of yourself. I step fully into the upgraded version of me. As you write, don't just repeat the words, feel them. Notice the calm spreading through your chest like warm light filling an inner room. Notice the clarity rising behind your awareness, as if your mind has been gently lifted into a higher, quieter place. Notice the recognition, subtle, steady, undeniable. You are not waiting for the upgrade to complete. You are already becoming it. There's a moment in every Arcturian upgrade sequence when something irreversible occurs. A moment when the shift stops feeling like an internal event and becomes fully embodied. A moment when you stop experiencing the upgrade and begin living as the upgrade itself. The Arcturians call this moment the threshold. And if you're here right now, if you can feel the truth of these words resonating in your chest, you are standing directly within it. The threshold is not a dramatic explosion. It is a quiet turning. It is the instant your field stabilizes so completely that your old frequency can no longer reclaim you. It's the moment coherence becomes your default. And from that point forward, you don't return to the old way of being. Not because you are trapped, but because you are free. Here's how you know you have crossed from integration into complete embodiment. First, your inner world becomes your primary reality. The hierarchy reverses. External circumstances no longer dictate your internal state. Instead, your internal state begins shaping your external circumstances with increasing speed. You feel truth before you analyze it. You sense resonance before you rationalize it. You know alignment before you can explain it intellectually. You navigate from the inside outward. This is embodiment, the end of living, as a reaction to the world, and the beginning of living as a coherent field that the world responds to. You might notice this as a new kind of self-trust that doesn't need constant evidence. You don't have to convince yourself anymore. You don't have to debate your own knowing. You become less interested in proof because the proof is in the way your system responds, the steadiness in your breath, the stability in your chest, the clarity in your choices. Second, your past begins to feel like a story you witness, not an identity you inhabit. You can remember your history without becoming it. You can say that happened to me without feeling that is me. This isn't detachment from your journey. It's expansion of consciousness. You stop merging with old chapters. You stop living inside old pain as if it is still present. The upgraded identity replaces the outdated one, not by erasing your story, but by changing your relationship to it. This is one of the most liberating changes. You can honor what you survived without building your future around it. You can appreciate who you were without needing to be them again. The past becomes a teacher, not a prison. Third, the larger version of you becomes the dominant voice. The higher identity you once sensed only in meditation, briefly, softly, like a whisper, becomes present constantly. It observes your life, guides your choices, responds to challenges with stability. You no longer reach upward to access it. You operate from it naturally. You live from the expanded self as your baseline. This is not external guidance. It's internal leadership. It feels like a calm intelligence that doesn't argue with fear. It doesn't wrestle with doubt. Simply sees. And because it sees, it chooses clearly. Fourth, your emotional landscape achieves genuine stability, not numbness, not suppression, not spiritual bypassing. Real stability. Emotions still rise and fall, but they do not hijack you. They no longer drag you into chaos. You can feel deeply without drowning. You can experience intensity without losing coherence. You respond with clarity, precision, and neutrality, not cold neutrality, but grounded neutrality. This is the emotional signature of a fully upgraded being. You may notice you recover faster. Triggers still appear, but they pass through more quickly. Your nervous system doesn't cling to disturbance the way it used to. Instead, it returns to center naturally, like a compass resetting to true north. Fifth, you feel guided from deep within. Not by random external signs, not by outside messages, not by frantic searching, but by your upgraded field itself. You think less frequently and know more immediately. You hesitate less often and choose more clearly. Your internal architecture becomes your navigation system. You don't need constant reassurance because the signal inside you is strong. This is what the threshold changes. You stop looking for direction as something separate from you. You embody direction. You become the source of your own alignment. Sixth, you sense your timeline reorganizing around you. Events align with increasing speed. Synchronicities cluster. Old patterns collapse completely. New opportunities appear with timing that feels impossible. It's as if life is meeting you halfway, except it's more accurate to say life is meeting your frequency. You are no longer following your timeline. Your timeline is following you. This is a definitive hallmark of threshold crossing. When your field becomes coherent, reality begins reflecting that coherence through accelerated alignment. What used to take months now takes days. What used to require struggle now arrives through resonance. And what no longer matches you doesn't linger, it exits. Seventh, you feel a subtle but permanent expansion through your awareness. Not overstimulation, not constant mystical intensity. Simply more presence, more space, more perceptual capacity, more understanding, more dimensional depth. Your consciousness expands beyond its old container, and once expanded, you cannot fully contract back into the old limitations. You can visit old patterns briefly, but you cannot live in them comfortably. The upgrade changes what you can tolerate, internally and externally. Eighth, you stop seeking the upgrade because you are the upgrade. This is the moment every Arcturian process leads toward. When the reconstruction stabilizes, when the structures align, when the emotional body settles, when the perception matrix opens, the upgrade stops being a phase and becomes your permanent state. You are no longer the one receiving transformation. You become the one generating it. This is the threshold. Once crossed, it does not close behind you. This is not transformation. This is embodiment. You are no longer shifting into coherence, you are coherence. You are no longer rising into alignment, you are alignment manifested. You are no longer receiving activation from outside sources. You are the field that activation responds to. This is the ultimate purpose of the upgrade, to return you to your original design as a coherent generator of reality. Type this exact phrase to anchor yourself completely inside the threshold. I embody the upgrade fully and completely. As you write it, notice the warmth in your chest intensifying. Notice the expansion in your awareness strengthening. Notice the recognition settling more deeply, as if something is locking into place permanently. You have crossed into the version of yourself the Arcturians prepared you to become. Before we close, do something simple but powerful. Choose one word that captures what you are claiming right now, not a paragraph. One word: clarity, stability, truth, courage, freedom, coherence, peace. This isn't just a comment or a label. It's a frequency declaration, your energetic signature placed into the field. When you name what you are embodying, your system aligns to it with more precision. If you've reached this moment, you already know the truth. You are not integrating the upgrade anymore. You have become it. Something inside you is fundamentally different now. You can feel it. The peace that doesn't match your circumstances. The clarity that arrives before thought. The presence that feels older than your physical body. The intuition that speaks louder than fear. The stability that logic cannot explain. This is not imagination. This is not suggestion. This is not a temporary spiritual high. This is embodiment. Your system has crossed the threshold the Arcturians were preparing you for. Your identity has expanded beyond its old limits. Your perception has opened to frequencies you couldn't access before. Your emotional body has stabilized at a higher baseline. Your timeline has realigned with your highest potential. Your consciousness has shifted into a new default state, and now you are walking as the version of yourself they have been guiding you toward since before you took your first breath. You can no longer pretend to be smaller than you are. You can no longer comfortably return to completed cycles. You can no longer negotiate with misalignment as if it's harmless. The upgrade has established itself as your new energetic baseline. From this moment forward, your intuition will guide with increasing precision. Your decisions will emerge from coherence. Your energy will communicate before your words do. Your presence will shift the atmosphere of spaces you enter, not by force, but by resonance. Your timeline will respond faster to your internal shifts, because the inner world now has higher authority than the outer world. You have entered an evolutionary stage where your frequency signature carries more creative power than your circumstances. Circumstances become feedback, not control. The world becomes a mirror, not a master. But here's what you need to understand. You are not meant to navigate this next phase in isolation. Not when your sensitivity is intensifying. Not when emotional processing is accelerating. Not when perception is expanding into new layers. Not when new timeline possibilities are opening rapidly. Not when ancient memories and patterns are surfacing for release. When the threshold opens, your system requires a field strong enough to hold what is awakening inside you. This is why aligned support matters, not because you are weak, but because you are powerful. A powerful frequency needs a coherent container. You need resonance, not just information. You need reflection, not just theories. You need a space where you don't have to over-explain what you feel, because others recognize it instantly. This is also why repetition matters. If this transmission touched something deep in you, consider returning to it again tomorrow morning, or when you feel scattered. Each time you listen, different layers activate because you are integrating at deeper levels. Your field doesn't receive the same message the same way twice because you are not the same version of you twice. And if someone in your life is going through their own awakening, someone feeling changes they can't explain, share this. Not as persuasion, but as resonance. When you share consciousness concepts like these, you are not just passing along information. You create an energetic ripple that expands collective awareness, reinforces your own embodiment, and accelerates alignment for everyone involved. Your act of sharing becomes part of the upgrade itself. If something expanded in you while reading this, if your chest warmed, if your awareness shifted, if you felt the activation rise, trust what that means. The upgrade is alive and active. Your identity is evolving beyond limitations. Your timeline is accelerating toward your highest potential. Your soul memory is opening to deeper wisdom. Your presence is strengthening with each moment you choose coherence. Welcome to the next stage of who you were always meant to become. Welcome home to yourself.